Nearly 3,000 Switch 2s have been stolen out of a truck on the way to GameStop. Brother, that is insane. So what's the story? Will they get away with this? And how much did Nintendo lose here? And I have a nice little surprise for you by the end of this story, so make sure you stick around. Now let's dig into this bitch like DK and his new game, which, hey, I don't know if y'all saw the direct this morning. That looks fucking phenomenal. It looks so good. It looks like if Super Mario Odyssey had like a destructible environment. I'm fucking hype. I don't got the Switch 2, but when I do, that's gonna be the first game I buy, let me tell you. But really quick, I upload 5 times a week. If you want access to these videos early, click the join button down below. Now, how did this happen? Well, a truck driver was in a Love's gas station, the home for many truck drivers. People love that shit. And then he notices, holy shit, my trailer has been broken into. He was unsure if it happened at that location. He was in like Colorado or something, or if it was in another location and he just now noticed. But he called the boys. He's like, yo, this thing happened. The boys pulled up. They pull up, ask him what happened, and he made sure to include, hey, I had no idea what was in that trailer. I had no idea what I was transporting, okay? I'm just doing my job. Obviously, he had to include that to make sure people don't suspect he was the one that stole it. And dude, like most of the time, truck drivers have no idea what they're transporting. They're just doing their fucking job. They don't give a fuck. It could be drugs. It could be bombs. I don't give a shit. I'm just trying to make my bread. But he opens his trailer and realizes literal pallets of shit is gone. How does someone steal pallets worth of goods? How big was the thief's vehicle to put pallets worth of Switch 2s in that bitch? You know how long it probably took for a motherfucker to snatch all that shit? Now, the total number of consoles stolen were 2,810. If each one sells at 500 beans, brother, that is $1.4 million. 1.4 million. Even if he decided to break the market and sell them at $300 each, brother, that's still, I wrote it down here, what's the math? $843,000. That's crazy. Now, I'm not sure how this happened. I'm not sure how he not only had the time to break into the trailer, not only had the time to steal almost 3,000 Switches, and also had the ability to cover up his tracks to even have the fucking driver questioning when this happened. This thief is talented. Now, I don't know how he's gonna get away with it because obviously he has to ship out these consoles and people can see where it's shipped from. I feel like he may get caught, but I'm gonna be real with you. Fuck the man, all right? I don't even give a fuck that they got stolen. What I do give a fuck about are the people that are purchasing it from the thief. Because anyone that decides to actually purchase one of these stolen consoles, obviously without knowing, they're gonna get met with some bullshit when it's actually in their hands. Switch 2s all have serial numbers attached to it, and that's how Nintendo keeps track of each one individually. If you pay attention to the gaming side of news, you probably noticed that Nintendo have been bricking Switches left and right. They've been bricking Switches more than my meat at a strip club. This shit is insane. And when your Switch is bricked, it basically makes it unusable. Like, it's over. Throw that bitch away. So let's say you're a person that wants to buy a Switch 2 as a gift, maybe for your girlfriend, boyfriend, maybe you're a dad, or even for yourself. You look online and you see, holy shit, there's no Switch 2s available, and the ones that are available are more expensive than a vacation to Thailand. Not only would you glow from grace if you see a Switch 2 is actually available, but if you see it's probably cheaper than the Switch 2 normally is, which I'm assuming the thief would do. He's probably gonna break the market by selling these Switch 2s cheaper than the OG price, which is $450 to $500. Bro, if you see a $300 Switch 2 online, you're gonna be jumping with joy. You're gonna be jumping around like Doja Cat and that musty ass fan. But then when you hop on the console to play your fresh new Mario Kart Tour, that shit looks fun as fuck too, by the way, you're gonna be very upset. Okay, you're gonna be very I feel bad for your ass, boy. Shit, you're quickly gonna find out why it was so cheap. You're gonna realize you've been duped, scammed, bamboozled. So if you're in the market to purchase a Switch 2, make sure you get it from a legit spot. All right, go to Walmart, Best Buy, GameStop, Target, wherever. Just avoid finding cheap Switch 2s online. because it's basically playing Russian roulette with your wallet. All right, it's a gamble. Now let me give you a chapter 2 on this video, because this is actually what today's video was gonna be about, but then I saw this whole thievery happen and I had to yap about it, so I might as well give you a BOGO deal. All right, 2-for-1 special surprise. Today I wanted to predict the future of the Smash series. All right, what is gonna happen for Smash 6? I want to make some guesses, toss some ideas up in the air, and then you guys could tell me if they're stupid as fuck, or maybe you agree, or tell me what you think of them or your own ideas. So before anything, I want to give you the main speculation that fans are saying, and that is a deluxe edition. Smash Brothers Ultimate Deluxe. What a fucking name that would be. That's going Capcom levels of insane. Super Smash Brothers Ultimate Deluxe. That name is really giving Capcom's, like, you know how Capcom re-releases games 400 times? Super Street Fighter 4 Ultra Ultimate Deluxe Edition exclusive entry pack. But the reason why this is the main speculation for fans is because why not? All right, there's so many benefits to doing some sort of deluxe edition to Smash Ultimate that it would be silly not to do it. You get to stall out your audience for another few years, okay? Mario Kart 8 Deluxe came out. It's one of the most popular games sold on Switch. It worked the fuck out. They were able to milk Mario Kart 8 into oblivion. They milked the shit out of it, made crazy bread. They managed to stall a few years out for Mario Kart World Tour, or whatever the fuck it's called. It would be really silly not to do the same thing with Ultimate, but I think there's going to be licensing problems with like specific third-party characters. Why make a new game when you could just milk the last one? And I'd imagine this deluxe edition would be like a generic deluxe edition of any game, like all DLC characters, stages, costumes in this one package, and probably add on a few more characters as future DLC. That would be my guess. Whenever I see a deluxe edition of something, it's kind of an eye roller. I do understand the convenience. It's probably cheaper than buying all the DLC separate, maybe. I don't fucking know. Whatever, doesn't matter. But the second speculation is us getting a new game, but instead of the classic Smash we're used to, we'll probably get some sort of new game with new mechanics and a reworked from the ground up. I personally believe we are going to get both. I think we're going to get the deluxe edition, have it stall out another few years to then announce a brand new Smash entry with like basically new mechanics, new game. Maybe take a few steps back, cut the roster, and like not even half. They'd probably quarter that roster because there's like 80 plus fucking characters. That's a lot of motherfuckers, bro. They might quarter that shit and stick to just Nintendo IPs. But if I were CEO of Smash, let me give you my ideas. I think they're great. First reason to vote me as CEO of Smash is I wouldn't make a deluxe edition, okay? I would do another Smash entry, kind of similar to what the fans are thinking, a smaller roster. However, I would have some sort of theme to it. For example, Super Smash Brothers Heroes versus Villains, huh? I feel like Ultimate gave us a decent amount of villains, but you could always use more. An ideal roster would be something like, you know, Mario with Bowser, Luigi with King Boo, Donkey Kong and whoever the new final boss is in the new game, Link and Ganon, Pokemon Trainer, and maybe some sort of evil variant like Team Rocket, right? And the three Pokemon could be like Meowth, Arbok, and like Carvanine, Sonic and Shadow, Inkling and Octoling. You get the idea, okay? Zelda and Skull Kid. Yo, I've always wanted Skull Kid in Smash. That would be fucking sick. That'd be super cool, and it would give Nintendo a nice excuse to add more people, like make the roster more broad with Nintendo exclusive IPs. I know like Sonic isn't Nintendo exclusive, but you know what I mean. Obviously more characters than what I just said, by the way. Who would you add? Okay, if it was Heroes versus Villains, what duo would you want to see in that hypothetical game? Okay, second idea. Super Smash Brothers sidekicks. Okay, we emphasize on the sidekicks. We can shed light on the side characters that people love. For example, everyone wants Waluigi, me included. I would suck dick for Waluigi to be in the next Smash game. All right, people want Geno. This is their time to add these characters. The DK crew, which is highly unlikely, but imagine some sort of barrel system so you can swap between Tiny, Chunky, and Lanky. Oh my god! And while we're on Donkey Kong, Funky Kong, always fucking asked for in Smash, or even Cranky in some way, shape, or form. Tails, Knuckles, Silver, Amy, maybe even Rouge, because if we have Rouge, then hey, those jiggle physics, let me tell you. The Star Fox team, Slippy, Peppy, maybe even Crystal. Think of the shitload of Mario characters we can get. Birdo, Petey Piranha, Toad, Koopa. Kirby has a beautiful pool of characters you can choose from, all right? Even from like fucking the Kirby 64 game, the painting shorty would be sick. Waddle Dee and Waddle Doo would be sick. The Zelda side characters would be insane. Gerudos, Gorons, Yigas, Ritos, Zoras. The possibilities are truly endless, but my final idea. Nintendo and Capcom have a pretty good relationship, right? Hear me out. Nintendo versus Capcom. Who do I have to give the sloppiest dome for this idea? I don't give a fuck if it's platform or 2D fighter. I just need this shit to go down. But no matter the route taken for Smash 6, 7, 8, 9, Smash 9 or 10 would have to be Super Smash Bros. Ultimate 2. Now, obviously, it would be the same idea as Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, where everyone is here. All the characters, all the stages, X, Y, and Z. I'm just unsure if by that point, maybe we'd have way too many characters. So maybe it would just be Super Smash Brothers, everyone is here, but from like this second wave of Smash games, from like Ultimate and on, rather than everyone that's ever existed in the Smash universe, which would be super cool. And I'm sure once we get to that point, we would have like the hardware to be able to support such a grand project. But whatever direction Smash decides to take from here on out, I feel like it would kind of have to be something new and something fresh. Just some sort of new start, because Smash Ultimate does feel like a close to some sort of chapter in the franchise. Whether it being the last time they do a platform fighter, which I doubt, or just the last time they do something this big for a while, because Smash Ultimate is a huge game. It was a huge project that they somehow managed to get down. But you can only do big equals good for so long before shit starts getting hectic. You know what I mean? But what do you guys think? If you had a hand in making the new Smash game, what ideas can you come up with? What concepts do you have for me? Put it in the comments. Like, sub, but most importantly, join the Discord, because it's filled with people like you and I, where we love cool music and gaming. So join the community over there and click right here, because last time I spoke about the new Marvel fighting game and the new Invincible fighting game, and that shit, oh my god, the fighting game community is changing.